event. And that is, of course, the thing I have been talking about for several sessions ago, the Republican Party State Convention. This will be taking place in Rogers, June 8th, Saturday. I've actually posted here the first item to share is some of the details of it. They are allowing guests. It's at the Rogers Convention Center, which is also the Embassy Suites. Unlike the state committee, they are allowing guests. They lied about not being able to have guests during the state committee meeting. But for this event, they are going ahead and letting people actually show up. Now, there's been multiple fights about this. If you've seen either the Dave Ellswick Show or Conduit News or other media networks, you know that there's a big fight within the Republican Party regarding what's going on at this convention. First, kind of a background of what's going on. There has been a fight all across the nation to turn the Republican Party from a consultant class country club where certain people get to make lots of money and make decisions, and we, the people who are trying to fight for freedom, having to work for free, to like people that then betray us. And that's been going on for a while now. It's part of the reason why Donald Trump is so popular, is because a lot of people are sick and tired of the, what you would call just, I guess, establishment. And so they have, people across the nation have been going to Republican Party committee meetings, taking them over, learning how the process works, and then replacing what you would call these establishment folks with real conservatives in positions of power. What you would call elitists or globalists have been trying to sabotage those efforts by changing up the rules, by making up various excuses or reasons to try to stop this conservative effort to reform the Republican Party. Now, in Texas last Tuesday, they had both a primary runoff and a convention. In that convention, the state of Texas, the Republican Party, managed to close their primaries, but they weren't able to do it in time to affect the primary runoff. And there was a big race there for a guy named Brendan Herrera, who most likely would have won had the Republican establishment candidate not courted, managed to get Democrats to cross over and vote for him in that primary election. And we've seen that. We know for a fact Conduit News just put out a new article about this issue, and let me share that right now. This was posted 2 hours ago by Conduit News. Not recommended rule change, closed primaries. And it explains what a closed primary is. I won't read the whole thing. A closed primary is a system in which voters may only vote in the primary elections for the party they are affiliated with. This is very important because with open primaries, which we have currently in Arkansas, Democrats can and do cross over and vote in the Republican primary elections to get a more moderate candidate elected, or in some cases to get a candidate that they might be able to beat. You may hear about that sometimes. They'll weaken the Republican brand in order to beat them with a Democrat. Apparently, Nikki Haley was wanting to try this as a means to beat Donald Trump in some of the primary elections. But what I know for a fact, we've seen this. There's a testimony during a winter committee meeting of Randy Alexander who saw a post by Democrats of how they bragged of how they managed to keep him off a ballot. I was involved in a race to unseat Senator Jane English. I know Conduit News was part of that, was leading that effort to try to remove some of these Republicans in name only, and we were sabotaged again because Democrats would cross over to elect the more moderate Republicans. And there's a little mention here about the Texas GOP. The Texas GOP was fighting to remove also their Speaker of the House because he was also a rhino. They weren't able to do that. They were, however, able to flip a lot of state representative seats. So they may end up being able to vote him out as Speaker of the House. Because, again, people are angry about the way the Republican Party has acted over the years. Where, again, they demand reform, they demand change, and all they get is, volunteer your time and money to people that turn out not to do what they're supposed to do. Now, our primary is coming up June 8th, and we have the chance to pass many reforms. This is just one of them. There's several other reforms that we have a chance we can really make an effort to reform the Republican Party and get a lot of things done here. Because even though Arkansas is supposedly a red state, in reality, we're actually having to, we're not really that red. We still have an income tax. We're actually one of the highest taxed states in the nation, far more than the surrounding states. When you add up our income tax, our property tax, our millage rates, all those other things, we have some of the highest amount of government workers per population. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done in Arkansas. And again, we have a Republican supermajority here. It means over 75% of the Arkansas House and the Arkansas Senate are Republican. And it's likely to increase because the Democrat Party here is still in shambles. It's been an absolute joke. And people see the Democrats for what they are. They've been taken over by communists. And more and more people wake up and realize that the nation's going to fall apart if they're in charge. We're seeing the damage done by Joe Biden. Most people now realize that he was elected by fraud and that his policies are destroying the nation. But the problem is a lot of people still don't see that there's a lot of globalists within the Republican Party that need to be kicked out as well. But more and more people are starting to see that. They're starting to wake up and see the truth. For the folks, I'm just now posted here on Rumble, on the comments page, the link to this as well as my Podbean. So this will become an audio file that you can listen to and share with others. And I have posted it on Facebook. But anyway, do check out this article by Conduit. It really does an excellent job. And check out the other articles because they've been going through a whole lot of things that have been going on regarding the Republican Party and why this fight is important. You can still register to be a guest. Again, it's $20. If you want to help, especially if there's somebody that's like a delegate or someone you know that's able to vote in this convention, make sure they're able to go. Help them out if they can't. If they're busy with work, offer to help take their place. If transportation's an issue, see if you know somebody in the area they could stay with. But do everything you can to try to get as many conservatives into this area as possible, because this is going to be a big fight. They're going to try various types of shenanigans, if you will, to try to keep people out. I'm going to play a little bit some of the video footage of what I'm talking about, the things I've been dealing with regarding efforts to keep conservatives out of the process. And here I'll go ahead and post this article by Conduit so that you can read it onto the Rumble broadcast and share with others. So let me go ahead and go here. This is the first effort. During the last convention, what they did is conservatives took over the Pulaski County GOP, and I, along with others, would have passed a closed primaries in the last convention. What the establishment did is made up a fake back rooms issue regarding, then they had a closed hearing regarding a credentials committee that claimed that we were not credentialed. And of course, they didn't tell us any of this until we arrived at the convention. But as part of the efforts to try to shed some light on what was going on, I tried to film the credentials committee at the Republican Party headquarters. Now, this headquarters, by the way, is something that, again, I'm a paying member, and if you're a member of the Republican Party in any committee, you pay dues in part for this building. This is your building. But we were not only locked out of the room where they were having the hearing, but locked out of the building altogether. Little Rock police were illegally hired to enforce these made-up rules regarding this credentials committee. And when I tried to film what was going on in the room, I got this reaction. And this is actually, if you've seen my footage before, I've talked about this incident before, but it's gotten famous. I'll play a little bit of it here.
I pay to be membership. Let me in the building at least. Let us in the building. It's hot out here.
Hey, Sarah Joe, how are you?
I was watching. According to who? For what? You just make up the rule. What rule is it? Show me in the rule book where it says that. This is a child, what we have here. And she's grinning about it because she's on a power trip. Oh, now they're using the American flag to block my camcorder. That's.
What's that? Alright, this is a public place, Ryan. You gotta be kidding me.
I'm sorry. You guys can't be on the property right now.
Why?
Because they asked. So it's private property, so no one.
We're members of this organization. We are the members of this
You can go to the
organization.
sidewalk, but you just can't be here. So if you don't mind,
Are you off duty? You paid off duty for this, sir?
can you just please get off the property so I won't have to take any law enforcement action, please?
Threatening arrest? Who's another lawyer here?
Yeah, I understand. However, it comes to the fact afterwards. Can we just say off the property?
Officer, I have a question for you.
Sir,
I have a question for you.
no answer.
I have a question.
Off the property, sir.
I have a question for you. Officer.
Sir.
Officer, I have a question for you.
Thank you.
I have a question for you. Why are my people not allowed in the air conditioner?
Sir,
Officer.
can you get off the property onto the sidewalk? That'd be great.
What are you talking about? He's part of my group. He's on the property.
I'm also supposed to testify.
Off the property, sir.
You know what? Has he been trespassed by the owner? Sorry,
Yes.
you can't kick him off. Come on over. Really? What are you doing?
Off the property. They've asked me to
do what?
off the property.
Who?
The owner.
Get who off the property?
Sir, can you
Who is the owner?
off the property?
Who?
I might have just
Who are you asking to leave the
Are
property?
you here in a law enforcement sense, or are
Who
you
are you
here
asking to
in
leave the
like
property?
duty?
Okay, there's no video. So, it's hot. So can we just,
Right, so can we go inside?
that's not my fault.
Oh, okay, but you let other people inside, did you? Did they walk in through the ceiling? So you let other people in, and you didn't let us in.
We're here for this meeting. We were not told anything about. We were
I'm the
told.
attorney for this meeting. So I would like to understand why you, acting in your official capacity, have let some people in and not let other people in. Because clearly I like to file 1983 actions all the time. I'm sure you've heard of those. So I'm curious, why weren't we let in?
You have a card with your name and badge number.
Corey Hall, 17432.
You don't have a card.
Why does it say 545?
That's a badge number, sir. Not
Right.
employee.
So,
Okay, now I'm done answering questions.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
call the state police? Should I call the state police? I don't know. If they can do anything. You ever feel like you don't get paid enough? He's about to laugh. If we make him laugh, we get to go to the window. That's it. Oh, there we go.
I got a deal. But are you the one letting us in the front door?
Can we? Let's
I got
the drive side.
No, I mean,
We're public and protesters, so we're not burning anything.
Yeah, no throwing anything.
No. my question literally is who's going to let the individual live when they let them?
That's up to the ownership.
I don't think you're following me. Who's the guy?
Now I can go up to there to go to the window.
Are they just?
Oh yeah, well yeah. So they came and put tables up.
They put the American flag. The block.
Can you guys do me a favor and grab that guy that I was talking to?
Who's the guy you're talking to?
I think he was in a red shirt.
Why would we grab him?
No. Look,
Can you do us a favor and crack open the door so we can get some AC?
I guess the
You'd be obeying your rules if you open the door. You open the front door. Could you open the front door and keep the second one?
But for those that are wondering, this is not the front door. This is this may have been the older front door of their party, but they have a new facility. The actual front door is now a little bit further. But anyway, this is you can see the rest of this. This is a kind of behavior that was done to us by the establishment, and why, when they claim unity and that we need to come together to help beat the Democrats, and can't we all just get along, whatever the stupid phrase they try to use, don't buy it. They don't want you there. They only want you there for donations for money and time. So after that incident, we then had the convention itself, and I'll play most of this. This film was actually filmed by the lovely Rebecca DeWitt at the Republican Party of when Arkansas State Convention of 2 years ago.
Nobody from Pulaski County Committee is allowed.
The chairwoman's in there.
The chairwoman's in there. She's not treated either.
The chairwoman is in there as a guest.
I mean, you must, we need to have one rule. We need to follow the rules. The chairwoman is in there, and she is not, and she's not seeing it either.
I mean, is the chairwoman
Nobody from Pulaski County Committee.
I remember some of the delegates that are not being seated will not be allowed.
There's alternates too. Are the alternates allowed?
No. I was told no.
And by the way, this was the same. This was actually the officer at the front door, same guy. And again, he's there illegally. He's not supposed to be enforcing any rules of any organization. That's not his job, especially with the crime rate in Little Rock. And this was, again, Jefferson County GOP Chair David Singer, who is why he was the spokesman that was supposed to explain things, I don't know. But anyway, let me play some more of this.
Okay.
I'm not explaining this all day long. I would like to go back to the meeting. So here's what's going to happen. You were a delegate,
Yes,
and you're one that's not being seen.
that's correct.
You're entitled to a refund.
Okay, I want an answer. I'd like an answer, please, sir. Kindly, I'm asking peacefully. Are the alternates going to be allowed in?
I was just any part of that delegation that was being voted down, that they're not being allowed in.
Yeah, they voted not to see that.
They voted not to see anything that was on that delegation.
Excuse me.
Still not allowed.
Now this big guy that deliberately stepped in the way to try to block any filming is Drew Martin. He is the fraudulently elected chair of the Greater Saline County Young Republicans. They did this little song and dance where they had a secret credentials meeting to keep conservatives from becoming members. And you can see the description there. And so we managed to eventually, that's quite frankly the Greater Saline County Young Republicans, and the Young Republicans chair, Rusty Jackson, should be kicked out of the party for fraud for that issue. That happened later on after this. I'll play a little bit more of this right here.
I want to go to the front hotel. I can see if I can get Sarah or somebody out there to speak directly to you. Right now,
Would you do that because there's a lot of other people out there and they deserve
right now,
to
you can feel the hall.
Okay, that's
I'm
fine.
just passing on the information.
No problem. So if you would, who is it you said, Sarah?
Sarah Joe right there is one who's going to tell you what's going to happen.
Is this Sarah here? This is Sarah. Is this Sarah? Is that Sarah?
No, I'm Sarah.
Oh, you're Miss Sarah.
Yeah. I will refund all the people from Boston County.
But first of all, that's not good enough. People took time and gas to come here, so to just simply do a refund wouldn't be good enough anyway. Number two, this should have been explained to us before we ever arrived. Number three, as you can tell, there's no sympathy, no apology, because this is an arrogant, stuck-up person. Sarah Jo Reynolds, who was the Arkansas Republican Party executive director, should have never made it to that position in the first place. From what I understand, she's no longer in the Republican Party, in part because of this incident and others like it. However, people that ordered her around and had her do these things are still running the party. And then some names you need to know is Chris Caldwell. He's currently, I believe, the campaign manager for Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and he has his own consulting firm, Caldwell Consulting. He's been a large part of the effort to sabotage conservative efforts. He's a character who was involved in, I believe, sabotaging the Pulaski County GOP from attending this convention. He was there when we did our convention that lasted for several hours, along with Melanie Golick. Melanie Golick is still in the party. I think she's a Faulkner County GOP official or committee woman or I forget her title. But anyway, another organization you need to know about is the Arkansas Chamber of Commerce. They are a globalist organization, and their chair, Randy Zook, has donated a lot of money to the Republican Party, to various candidates and to organizations, and so he has a lot of influence. They're pro-illegal immigration, pro-higher taxes. They're also for the LGBTQ agenda, indoctrinating little kids. We actually had a bill called the SAFE Act that would protect kids from the LGBT agenda from trying to mutilate them. And Randy Zook was part of the effort to fight against that, along with our former Republican Governor Asa Hutchinson, who I still think has some friends in the Republican Party as well. That's the kind of stuff we're fighting against. So, you think, this party stuff, you think it doesn't matter to you? Yeah, it's literally fighting for the innocence of your children. It's fighting for how much taxes they're going to pay, whether or not they have to turn in their guns or be called on red flag laws. Whether or not the FBI or the ATF can come in and use excessive force to make an example of someone or even murder them. And by the way, that's happened. That happened with the airport director, Brian Malowski. That's the kind of stuff we're dealing with here.
It's not. That's not right. The question is anybody who is excluded from going in?
The people from Pulaski County.
Everybody in Pulaski County Committee.
Can we go in as a guest and sit in a separate section? I will go.
That's all we're asking.
If you're going to be peaceful, then you can
Sure.
Nobody was being unpeaceful, so that's a lie. That's what we call a straw man, when you make up some kind of excuse and make up drama that doesn't exist.
I'm peaceful. We're peaceful.
Rick, you're going to be peaceful. Please don't video me, Rebecca. Okay, you're not going to say, please don't video me.
And that's the last thing, is these people don't want to be recorded. Because as you saw earlier, they do everything in their power to try to keep from being filmed, because they know they're in the wrong. They know that they're unpopular. For most of these people, the only way they're even in the Republican Party is they join some consulting organization and interned and networked and rubbed elbows with certain people and became yes men for various groups. They don't really care about a conservative cause. They just want to advance their career. And I think some of them may even be actually leftists who are just there to sabotage the Republican Party, just like Ronna McDaniel did for the RNC. Ronna McDaniel, who happens to be Mitt Romney's niece, ran the Republican Party on a national level for years and is the main reason why we lost several elections after Trump won. That's the red wave that was supposed to happen. The midterms didn't happen. A lot of voter fraud we found out has happened. We're now trying to get our ground game in these battleground states to stop what happened in the last election where they stole it for Joe Biden. But it's having to be done by groups like Turning Point USA and organizations like Conduit News on a local level. Here we have a group called Arkansas Voter Integrity Initiative that's going after the voting machines because we know they can be rigged. Lots of other organizations have to pick up the slack because Ronald McDaniel deliberately wasted millions of dollars that Republicans donated to, thinking they were going to help elect Republicans into various positions. Instead was wasted on crooked consultants and flower arrangements and limo rides and living lavishly while the nation falls apart. And she's not the only one in an organization meant to fight for freedom that's been doing that. The NRA has had a lot of criticism as well. Wayne LaPierre's wife went on shopping sprees while people are having to defend their gun rights. And so, yeah, it's not unique to the Republican Party, but the Republican Party is still the biggest political apparatus in terms of saving this nation regarding the government and political issues. Do not waste your time with a third party. They're not organized. The Libertarians just had their convention, and it was a circus. The best thing about it was Trump going by to speak to it, because a few Libertarians could make a difference in a battleground state. But they nominated some kid who's basically just a leftist. And then I know the Constitution Party had their convention not long before. Barely enough people to fill a room. They should have done none of the above and try to focus on the small election, but I've left that organization years ago. But anyway, I've showed you so far some footage of some of the bad things they've done. But what I want you to show you right now is the success we've had. Now, this right here is Miss Flag Waver Melanie Golick herself, and this was at the 2nd District meeting we had a little over a year ago. It was in March of 2023. It was actually pretty cold. They tried to delay the meeting as long as they could, and part of the reason was I had multiple people at this meeting try to tell me not to record, just like what Sarah Jo said to Rebecca, don't record us. So I'm going to play what happened here, this event.
Say again, this is Kitty Wallace. I'm here at the Arkansas Republican Party 2nd District meeting. There have been efforts to try to get me out of here from recording this event by multiple people. Constable, Representative Roy Beck. I was asked by Brian Davis not to record her speech. Unfortunately, as I'm doing a live stream, I can't really say that. And again, no notification was told not to record. There's a piece of paper that says not to record regarding movie theaters, but that's regarding copyright infringement regarding movie theaters. This is not a movie theater. This has been taken over by another organization that has its own rules. And those rules do not say anything about recording. I've asked them to cite the rule regarding recording and have not got anything. And I'm not the only one recording either. So I'm actually going to do upload some video right now onto my laptop, which I brought with, which I decided to drag over here with me. As I mentioned before, yes, hey, I'm also writing that place. Walter Wagner? Yes, Wagner. Well, I kind of figured Wagner. I have asked the organization to cite the rule regarding recording here. They have not been able to do that. The way this organization is set up, it has certain rules regarding who can record. And I thought I'd call the police department regarding this. I think I called the county sheriff and told them about it. I don't know Which are you Milton? You're Milton. You're Milton City. Okay. So I walked by the chair. They said no problem with it. I've actually been hired by someone to record this, so I am I'm actually supposed to be here. What's going on is what's, I guess you call it a Karen Act or whatever you want to call it, where there's some people that want to do some things and not be recorded on it, but legally I am supposed to be here. I've actually recorded conventions before. There's a lawyer there.
We're getting all lawyers smiling. Essentially, there is a sign posted about phones and recording devices out front before you walk into the So he's saying that somebody hired him to be here.
The question is, the sign is an indication of what the owners want. Do you have an owner indicating that he would like to trespass Karen? Okay. Then I think we're all set.
And as far as the net personnel, somebody that can actually stay here. So I'm going to go up and get some more information and then I'll let you know.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I've kind of figured that.
Yeah, I'll get everything figured out and I'll get back to you all. Here we go, folks.
So there's Melanie over there trying to chat with the police, trying to get him to kick me out.
They can't stop you from recording. They can only remove you for trespassing.
But that has to come from the owner of the property.
Well, it doesn't have to come from the owner of the property.
This is representative that.
It's just, it's in you.
That was Representative Roy Beck, who earlier tried to get me to leave. And of course, I said no to him. Because, again, I was supposed to be here.
More stage shows, if those things are recorded, they can be liable on copyright. So that's.
Okay, so who are you? Are you?
I'm just somebody new trying to make a decision on who I vote for this position.
Okay.
So I appreciate knowing that you can be some good fodder to content.
So anyway, the conclusion of this is they weren't able to kick me out despite their best efforts. Not long after that, they suddenly were able to allow the convention to take place, and this globalist uniparty lady right here, Melanie Golick, who, as you saw earlier, desecrated the U.S. flag, was replaced with Jennifer Lancaster for 2nd District Chair. So I tell you this, to show you that what we're doing is making a difference. And since we've made the Republican Party more conservative, we've seen a lot more things done regarding tax cuts on a state level. We've seen a lot in terms of fighting against the Republican Party's finally getting involved in fighting some of these ballot initiatives. The Saline County GOP has done a great effort in fighting against some of the stuff that's being pushed toward kids in the libraries. As a matter of fact, I think they're having a meeting on Thursday to discuss that. the Saline County, it's the Saline County Republican Women meeting next Tuesday, June 11th, discussing the stuff in libraries. Men, of course, are welcome. Looks like Jason Rapert, who is on the library board and is trying to fight that organization that should have been defunded 2 sessions ago. Of course, we still have a lot of work to do, as I mentioned before, but we are making progress. We are making a difference. The Texas GOP, as I mentioned before, voted to close their primaries. Lots of other states. I've mentioned before the group, the Nebraska Freedom Coalition. They have done a great job in kicking out a lot of what we call deadwood, the saboteurs, the consultant types. I still remember when they took over their party, they actually had a guy who was handcuffed, taken away in a police car, and then detained. But later on, he went back. He was running for some position, and he later on won it. And since then, they've been a very strong conservative organization. They're trying to fight to now make sure that all their electoral college votes go for Trump. And they're doing a lot of more reforms. But again, it's a long way to go. And of course, it's the main way. And of course, this is just the political fight. There's, of course, a spiritual fight. You need to develop a relationship with God, not just go to church on Sunday, but have a regular prayer and devotional time, study the Word, pray, and find a way to get others involved on that level as well. I've mentioned this before. When the righteous rule, the people rejoice. When the wicked rule, the people groan. And we're in a time now where the wicked are ruling. Unfortunately, the founders of this nation, founded on Judeo-Christian principles, they also made sure that this was a way where we could at least have a say in who Caesar actually was. And so that government is no longer God. Our rights are endowed by our Creator, not by other people. But folks, you can follow me at Rumble, Just Alright Angle, Podbean the same. I'm also on Twitter, KennyW_NLR. I am working on doing better recorded podcasts. Be sure to follow Radio 102.9 FM. They actually have an event Thursday. I think the Brad Schmidt show is going to be having in Conway at a barbecue tomorrow. He's on from 2 to 6. And then there is also the Steve Finnegan show, where he talks about a lot of these type of issues. But again, I'll be up in Rogers June 8th. I'll try to record a lot of what happens there and live stream. Pretty sure by now, because of the way we've put them in their place, that there won't be any issues. But if there is, you'll be able to see it live and let others know. But that's about it. If there is nothing else, you all have a wonderful day and try to find a way to get involved.